18th of July 2014 to address 3 items on the agenda of the emergency meeting relative to the complaint of spreading documents or access and years pursuant to Virginia's Code, Title 18, Chapter 3, Section 27, regarding complaint left and filed by Mr. Monico Fitz Jr. and Mr. Patrick Lieutenant Governor. I have the case here that was signed Monday, where we saw the information released. Nonetheless, we're here today, so Mr. Alexander, Terrell Alexander, for the record, the administrative assistant, we call a roll to see if we can establish a quorum case.
Mr. Albert M. Bryant.
Here.
Mr. Roman Molinar. Mistress Lisa Harris Moret. Mistress Diana Velarde O'Neill. Mr. Rupert Beverly Ross. Mr. Glenn Webster. Mr. Raymond J. Williams. 1 present, 6 absent.
Thank you. Members of the staff of the election system present, mention your name to the record, please.
Genevieve Whitaker, Deputy Supervisor, Roy.
Anyone else from the media or the public? You have a name, please, if you wish to.
Scott Library.
Roberto James.
Shauna Tucker.
Anyone else?
Marvin Forbes with VA Action.
Okay, for the record, this meeting was scheduled pursuant to a request and a complaint filed by Mr. Smith. And any parliamentary procedure, elected body or individuals, meetings are not cancelled by phone calls. Quorum is only not present when the meeting is called to order. Past practice, making phone calls, depending on who want to attend, who don't want to attend for whatever reason, is not a part of my knowledge and expectation of the elected member and chairman of the board. The Inspector General report complained and found out that many complaints that were made before were not handled or not cleared up or were ignored by past board chairs and members. I'm not going to be a participant to that. We are members elected to the board to represent the best interests of the election system and the board. Whatever reason any individual have, unless they're absent or ill, they should have been here. I know for the record, I saw Ms. Moore yesterday, and I saw an email which was sent out, said she would be traveling Friday. Mr. Ross, the last time he been here, he said he came to make a quorum, but he's not participating in any emergency meeting as it relates to himself, and Mr. Dan gave him some special names on the record, so he didn't stay. Mr. Molina, this morning I received an email, or not an email, but a message from Mr. Alexander sitting here that Mr. Molina said he wasn't coming because there was no quorum. And I think all of us should know, like I told Mr. Alexander, a quorum is only established when a meeting is called to order and you call a roll. I also have a copy from Mr. Ross. I have it here. Mr. Moorhead, Mr. Moorhead on. And Mr. Williams, I think he's off island. I don't have any record of Mr. Neal. I know for sure the one from Mr. Ross is to Mr. Terrell Cunningham and copying relative to the emergency board meeting July 18, 2014, 9:30 here. Greetings to the members, email. Please be advised that consistent with my comments at the special meeting held last week, I will not attend the meeting on Friday. I'm prepared to work on issues related to the board's responsibilities and the conduct of the primary election as dictated by law. And anybody can have it and keep it pay out, but that's why he believes he can select what meeting he wants to come to be selected. Everything concerns the election and primary. So basically, we questioned documents that were shredded, that are official record documents. They should have been here to get information at the appropriate time or ask Mr. Whitaker, since you see the responsibilities and duties of candidates being eligible for the election. Again, Mr. Molina received a notice 9:28 this morning. I asked Mr. Alexander to contact him, let him know that we're waiting on him, and I haven't heard from Mr. Molina. Again, that's the way the whole world operates, and arbitrarily and capriciously select when they want to come to the meetings or when they feel it. That is fine with the people, fine with me. The records speak for itself. So this is more head. On July 14, 480, and that's what she sent to Mr. Alexander. I'm just getting this, even though there were conversation with Mr. Alexander telling me that I won't have a quorum, and I tell him a quorum is established by law when a meeting is called to order. Quorums are not established on a phone call. But since we have 4 members in St. Croix today, and 3 of the understanding of Island, we don't have a quorum because a quorum of 7 is 4 members. And the agenda we had this morning is the item, the alleged shredding of documents because of candidate verification and ability of candidates. So Mr. Whitaker, since Mr. Saxon is here, I would like you to tell us, if you know, according to what was listed in the papers, that the legal counsel authorized documents in specificity, records of individual candidates, which attorney and where attorney advised either of you to shred for this record.
Good morning. For the record, not with the exception of 1 police report, I have never received or seen any police reports of any candidates. The supervisor put in place a policy wherein I was not to receive police reports. I am also completely unaware of, and I have not seen with my eyes, any shredding of police reports. So with the exception of 1 police report provided to our office, brought in by a candidate for governor, I have not seen any other of the other 66 candidates in the district. I've never seen their police reports.
So you had 1 candidate?
Correct, which I placed in that person, in that candidate's file, which is actually in the file folder for that candidate that I left in that particular.
And what candidate was it?
Okay, that was Robert Quinn.
Quinn?
Okay, Lieutenant Governor with independent candidate with Sheila Scalia. That's the only one that I have basically in the file, basically.
And did any attorney from the Attorney General Office of the Department of Justice advise you as the deputy supervisor to shred any record?
Well, there will be no communication regarding police reports because I was not directed to participate in any way in the receipt, processing of any police reports for any candidate.
So, with the exception
Exception of the individual who he actually brought that in, he brought in his police report and handed it to me.
that is Mr. Robert.
Quite.
So no other candidates to delegate
Governor, all the other
senators brought documents claiming to be representative of the police record.
Correct. That's not true.
So you're saying this morning that Mrs. Fox is the only person that has custody of the police record?
From my understanding, she had one staff member collect them and they were handed directly to her.
And you know the staff member that collected these records? Huh? That's you right there.
Candidates regarding these reports that were handed to Ms. Felix.
With the exception of 1 only,
Correct.
all others were handed to Mrs. Felix.
That is correct.
You did absorb shredding the very documents to this report. Did Ms. Fox communicate to you of any records that she intended to shred?
Again, I was left out of the process, so she didn't really.
Did she tell you she was shredding the document?
She told me she was shredding any documents. I didn't know it. She didn't tell me that. I mean, I found out eventually it's after they did in this report.
From after the daily report from the daily news or from somebody else?
I didn't receive any communication from the supervisor that she intended to shred any police reports. She kept me completely out of the police report process. All communication regarding this report, except with the exception that the staff member would receive them and be handed directly to her and not placed in the candidate's file.
So what you're saying is that police records obtained by the candidates were removed from the files and turned over to Mrs. Fox?
No, when the candidates came in and the staff received basically their nomination petition or paper, the police reports were then taken out individually and handed to the staff members. But whichever election assistant collected the nomination petition or paper, handed them to Ms. Felix, and Ms. Felix handed it directly to her. Never made it in the files for the candidates that I have position.
And do you know if the person removing those police records a lot of the records are removed and turned over to Mrs. Fox?
I requested a lot, and one was not kept.
So none was not kept in the requested law. Are you familiar with the candidates questioning form? The election system of the Lord's hands, candidate information form. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, that's attached to basically all of the, actually most, the majority of the candidates filled it out. The information, their contact, point of contact, all the information was used to create our list.
Is this also a document that was in the supposed packet?
Okay, so candidates were required, particularly those who belong to or basically work for the government, they were required to submit Part 1 and 2 disclosure reports. Those again were placed in an envelope, and I did not see any candidates Part 1 or Part 2 disclosures. They were sealed, and again either handed directly to the supervisor or put under her door. So no, I did not see or file any of the candidates Part 1 or Part 2 disclosure reports. But I have seen the form.
You familiar with these documents?
Yep, I went to draft them, the qualification for offices. Those are all in the packages.
The candidates questions. Can you tell me what this is, please?
It's a qualification for offices, basically outlining the different offices, the age requirements. We also provided a table in more detail, basically explaining every provision of essentially each office.
This request for the candidate information is right to the bottom of that form. What does it say?
The purpose of this information sheet is to give accurate information to the media and civic organizations interested in conducting forums.
Read again.
The purpose of this form, this information sheet is to give accurate information to the media and civic organizations interested in conducting forums.
What does that mean to you?
Essentially, or at least as I understood the past, present practice is that groups or how you can actually request the kind of information sheets by which they can contact the various candidates. So they go to take part in forums and other things.
So what those things are actually a part of the candidate's information record, the purposes on the document.
Correct.
Was there a time when first these was open to the public, telling the candidates that unless they attach a police record, they will not be accepting the package?
That's right.
Who said that memorandum, if you know?
Like I sent it on behalf of the supervisor.
So she instructed you to send it out.
That's right.
Again, I'm familiar with the terms of arrest record and police record. So as a board, as a post and employment system operate along with Mrs. Fox, either of you could have qualified or vet candidates if she was absent.
she could designate me to assist her, which she did in vetting the candidates. That is correct.
In this case, wasn't done with you. It was out of that loop. So you say,
It's a matter of interpretation. I would just say that I did what I was instructed to do, and I did my job best I could with the information that was given to me.
you familiar with the us?
This is the updated candidate information form. And candidates are required to attach a copy of the police records to the candidate information sheet.
You have a purpose of it. You read the whole.
Sure. The purpose of this information sheet is to provide accurate information to the election system and the Board of Elections in order to verify a candidate's compliance with the Rights Organic Act of 1954 and Virgin Islands Law, Title 18, Chapter 5, Section 109, subsections E and F in particular.
So then, the language at the bottom of that document expressly says the election system and the board. Does that mean that the records are part of the board too?
Say yes, I mean, that's what this.
I haven't received any instruction from any board member, present or absent, to in fact shred any documents for this record.
I didn't receive the instruction.
And to the top candidate information sheet, what does it say?
Election system in the Virgin Islands, or
What is written under the first portion?
just like our addresses, or
That line, candidate information sheet, name of candidate.
oh, correct.
And under the name of the candidate, what does it say?
As your name appears on your voter registration, I think.
Thank you. So basically, this information will have helped the system to make sure that the person whose name of the candidate will actually register here in Virgin Islands Secret. Again, you haven't received any information from us. Did you speak to Ms. Axel?
No, I just spoke. I will communicate with her via email. I just spoke.
And have she told you if she had any information or any instruction from any attorney to shred that in?
Again, I was kept out of the whole police record process, so no communication from a lawyer. I'm not copied any by any lawyer, any board, the system. So, you know,
You don't have to have a black law dictionary in the system.
I don't know.
But you're familiar with the record and the document, the police record and the rest of it.
No, I'm very clear, but I just have to maintain the record that I was not a part of the processing of any police record.
Couldn't the board of election would insist instance under Title 18 since the revised election system along with the deputy could also on your own requested information pursuant to Title 18, 109 E and F, get information from the courts and other agencies. What I can do is actually
Well, what I can express is that I maintain and I have made it clear that it was my understanding that the police records would be attached and be in every file for the candidates. So the very fact that the process was that for me to basically put together all the packages and, in other words, you know, look through all the candidates' nomination papers and petitions without the police record, I made objections to that and I made it clear that it should be attached. I am not against following instructions, so that's what I did. I followed the instruction. I didn't receive any requests to shred or really and truly was really not done the process.
I have a copy of the code here, and I'm sure you're familiar with Title 18. Subsection 109, reports of change in voter status. In particular, in Section E says the supervisor of elections shall make arrangement with the appropriate federal agency for regular receipt of by the boards of elections and official information as to naturalization, conviction resulting in loss of voting privilege, and permanent changes of address residing jurisdiction of such board. Familiar with the section? Are you also familiar with 119F, pursuant to the Health America Vote Act, Public Law 107, that's 222. Supervisor elections shall make specific arrangements with the police department and commission of Social Security or his designee on the verification of application information. You also familiar with that. So So basically, the supervisor along with the secretary was assigned that had the authority to go as far as the NCIC to ask the AG or make a request of the agency board. And to best say you never have you or anybody been involved in that instance.
I've never been instructed to contact the FBI. I've never been instructed to contact the court. I've never gotten that instruction.
So where would the other information for the candidates be kept right now?
In my office, I have all of the nomination petition and papers for every candidate. And attached to, the only thing attached to their nomination petition or paper is a candidate information sheet and basically the receipt that the election assistants basically generated to provide the candidate with a confirmation that they filed the petition or paper.
So you wouldn't have none of the arrest record, police record, or any record of those candidates?
No, again, I was none of that process and that it never made it into the files of the general.
And Mrs. Fox ever told you where they're stored or where they're kept?
No,
She haven't told you as of this morning where they are?
no.
She ever tell you she was not going to be here today or what she doing?
She indicated that she would be off island because she attended yesterday's St. Thomas regular meeting, St. Thomas board regular meeting, and she said she'd be gone from Wednesday through Friday.
Till Friday, through Friday.
Through Friday.
I wanted to ask Mr. Terrell because he was the one that sent out the press release, correct? Do you have an agenda? Is that the agenda that was sent out on the press release also?
Yes.
All the board members were notified on the 14th of July by this press release allowing the meeting.
Yes.
And the agenda was set July 18, 9:30. That's what you have there, sir?
Yes.
And is the first item on the agenda alleged fraudulent documents regarding candidate verification and visibility of candidates of public office?
Yes.
Mrs. Wichita, you're familiar with revised America from 1954 as amended subsection B, 6B?
I don't everything by heart, but it's read it document the
Well,
times.
if you look through here, I think you mentioned this was a part of the packages. Have them look and for the record, tell us what it is.
Oh, the felon. So, do you want to just read this one?
Could you tell us what
Okay.
the information is that was in the packages for all the candidates?
Sure. We reference the Rise Organic Act, section 6, subsection B.
So those information are required in order pursuant to the Violence Code to one, be a voter under 263, as you have there, and one under 6B to be elected to public office.
That's correct.
So revised organic act requires that by law. So it's not an option of a person seeking public office to submit an affidavit. It's an affidavit, a police record. Correct.
I don't know how to do the affidavits.
Well, could I write the affidavit outlining that they own a police record and this valid and accepted on the revised organic act?
I mean, I don't think the Rise Organic talks about specific instruments to sort of state whether or not you qualify. I think it's up to the supervisor to vet the candidates, the board, so.
So can you, or would you vet a candidate with an affidavit without checking with the appropriate agencies on the 190 in it?
You know, me personally, or my role is that?
You, if you happen to be really type 18, 190 in it, would you allow me to submit an affidavit as official police record? Or rather than,
You could request that information, but I understand it's simply a matter of reaching out to the courts, basically finding out what your as the board, as the system to check, so.
So then only by compliance with 109E and F can you get real information to comply with the reply to Ghana Title 8263. That is where you get the information from. So affidavit will not suffice as in compliant 108.
I mean, somebody can swear, they can attest and, have the record, what have you, but it's up to the board of the system to approve that candidate. You have to check their background. It's not enough just for somebody to tell you that they're not a criminal or haven't committed a crime.
On the 109E and F, does it say that you check with an individual or you say you check with approving agencies?
Agency.
Okay, thank you. Well, Ms. Fox is here. You tell me that she hasn't give you any instructions or any information as to what happened to the police records that are part of these records pursuant to the statute. You don't have them, you haven't seen them, you haven't seen any shredding or where they kept if they are available.
The exception, as I mentioned.
The one, Mr. Robert. Well, since Ms. Fox is in here to clear that up, it would have been best if the other members were here to get the right information. Since Ms. Fox and the other members are here, I am required by the law under Title 18 to convene an emergency meeting to address a concern. And since you have 4 members in St. Croix and 3 are Leslie of Island, hardly you can have 7 members present. Since the quorum cannot be met, this issue, this item and this agenda will continue when sufficient board members feel it necessary to appear to get the information as it relates to shredding documents, because it is my position under the vigilance law that any document related to public office other than party offices, once they're sent here, it belongs to the Board of Election and the election system. And Mrs. Whitaker, to the best of your knowledge, is there a requirement that all records, information, and documents for candidates remain in the custody of the election for how long?
I do not know the time frame, but I have to research as I can't speak on that. I don't know the time frame. Obviously, it's a few years, and we have records going back, many years. Very old.
So you can go somewhere in this system in office and find election records and file.
Correct. Going back
I have a document here. Without calling the name and the party of the individual, is that the same information that would have been on the candidate's questionnaire for the 2014 election? The information on that sheet of paper, without the name, the party, or the address or email, is that the way the candidate information sheet would have looked when they were stolen in the package?
But this year, we did an updated form.
So then that is in fact a old
That is correct.
one was upgraded.
Correct.
But on that old one, what does it say to the bottom?
Again, the purpose of this form and this information sheet is to give accurate information to the lead and civic organizations interested in conducting forums.
So then the information on this sheet is not available to trust. Then is supervising the election or other members of the board of election and provide the media and civic organization the information as to the candidate record.
I guess then they couldn't, they still can now obtain information that's provided in the sheet. We use that sheet to generate the listing, which is free to the public and the media.
But the information as it relates to what was questioned on the police record, if that is not available, how does the media or civic organization put this information to people seeking public office? If it's not available, if it's shredded, if it's destroyed. When you say in the case of some people, when the cases were searched, and some cases were brought people in the radio saying, pouring up. Well, I just want to make sure that the information without telling the candidate's name is similar, because the candidate name is either question to information. I just want to make sure that information and the name of the person who is here submitted that. The same fund was used as a recognized audience. Tell you further. So the purpose of this information is to provide accurate information to the election system and the board. You work for the board with the election system, with Ms. Fox and the deputies, along with Mr. Terrell. And it says, in order to verify candidates' compliance with the Vital Act of 1954 and for example, Title 18, Chapter 5, 109, subsection E. Well, if you have any further comments on this issue as it relates to the first item on the agenda, that was regarding the other item on the use of the ballot box regarding absentee voting. The other members aren't here again. And I guess were you present when they made the decision to use the vote boxes?
That last joint board meeting?
Yes. And are you familiar with the Originals Law, the Health American Vote Act law require that a voter and cast in the ballot must observe the casting of the ballot to vote? So then if I am walking in here to absentee ballot, am I observing the cast and my ballot when they're jumping in the box and then yes 200?
Yeah, I mean, I have no comment about it. I mean, that's just,
But
the
yes-
comments made, so I don't.
Okay.
I don't have any comment.
A yes 200 is the final process of a person casting the ballot, right?
Well, that may be my interpretation. I'm just saying it's up to you guys to make a decision. So it's
Okay, thank you. And we up to the other sections here. And for the record, as you know right now, the individual that come in with absentee uses a wooden box to cast the ballot.
That's fine.
And did you have any input or any research according to the laws as it relates to how to cast ballot and the yes one?
But I mean,
Knowledge or information or training is how you cast your vote, utilizing the yes 200 as the official.
yes, I have.
We separate there in that situation right now because for the record you know that the dry board at the meetings decided to use a board ballot box for those. So when the time comes we find out also. We hear now on the other item of a hearing was sworn to Mr. Bonito Jr. and Mr. Fredericks. And I haven't seen none of them thus far, and since they're not here, this item will be held until Mr. Smith decides what he wants to do. I mean, cannot continue to address his concern because he's not here to present his concern. Just file this document here, and I'm sure Mr. Terrell, this document will be distributed to all the members. Oh, okay. So basically, the members are here, and really don't make any sense to go through this portion since the Monica Smith Julie isn't here because on July 8th, his company he brought in July 14th to appeal the decision of whether July 8th turning to Mr. Hartley's candidacy. And this is Whitaker. Have Mrs. Fox tell you what all she did and for verifying what the Senate complaint other than writing Mr. Smith.
Well, I was privy to the complaints.
So you saw this
saw
complaint?
the complaint.
You saw the second one he brought in also?
I've only seen one complaint.
The same one he brought,
Okay.
July 14th, the same information.
That's fine. I was also aware of a letter that was, the supervisor basically, her response letter, sent a letter directly to Smith Frederick campaign, and that's all I'm aware of. Basically, it was, a letter was sent to them indicating to both candidates that Pastor Ali, Lieutenant Governor candidate, Donald Christensen, in fact, met the requirements to be placed on the ballot, to remain
had any role to play in determining the meeting of the requirements pursuant to Mr. Smith's concern? But that was solely done by Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Fox.
But the role that I played basically was to simply, and the supervisor actually, she did this, but I checked in our system to see the voter record of Nassau over the past years.
So the voting record was checked. Do you know if any other record was checked? Did what did Mrs. Fox tell you she checked any other source of information?
She informed me that she would make a request to the candidate that's Nassau if his tax information for the past few years.
And to the best of your knowledge, has she shared that information with you on system?
I've directed her just for the benefit of proper filing and documentation. Whatever documents are received of the candidate should be in their file. Now, has it made it there? No.
So when the last time you saw Mr. Otley this time?
It's still there. The nomination petition is still in the file folder that I created for that.
Nothing else has been added or received by you to put that?
I've received nothing to put it add to the file.
Then you wouldn't know if Mrs. Fox with any fathers doing an NCIC or an address of island or place of employment or filing of any documentation. You said that you're waiting on the question and information from Mrs. Fox.
Research was done in his employment.
No, we know where he works.
Yeah.
Well, that's as far as we can go on this issue. And since Mr. Molita's in here to speak for himself as what his concerns and complaints are. Again, until there's a quorum to address these concerns, I did not intend to, and will never intend to, conduct a hearing through the phone call. And my experience, I've never known we make phone calls to elected officials to see if we have a quorum. People elected to these boards because they told the voters they want to saw absent against subject. I don't think people should just play games with information because the very Inspector General report from the federal level outlined that the boards of election in the past have received complaints from citizens and candidates and they were never addressed. My background in law enforcement is similar. You cannot, as a police officer, police captain, hear a complaint in the street and put it in my pocket and walk over and say, we talk about it later. That's basically what is determining here today. Mr. Ross has been here for years. I've been all his meetings, he knows me out of the way. I don't see people just breaking easy, suggesting and encouraging members not to come because they don't feel that they should come because only you want to be involved. So that is as far as I can take this issue. So we have a little time. Some more hesitant she's going to be traveling on Friday. I saw her yesterday. I saw Mr. Webster, Mr. Molina here, and I am here. So we have 4 people in the same point that are sick. They're not here. So I think because
For just for clarity, Board Member Moorhead is at an IAPRI conference. She's a delegate and she represents.
yeah, that's what the state said, but it didn't say so. It just said.
Mr. Williams is at
Hold on. Who phoned up here?
That's the phone that somebody got.
Okay. Plug it up or something. Ladies and gentlemen. Plug it up?
No, I just take it out to go for a while.
Okay, good. Somebody what I'm saying is really good. I'm not disputing that she's there, but I said the email that I have here says I travel Friday and please advise there will be a call for the joint board meeting probably next week. Mr. Williams is also a pilot, so I know recognize that Mr. Williams and Ms. Moorhead as of today are pilot. Right. I don't, when they gone, I ain't no problem with me, they're not here, so they travel, they're not here. So I couldn't attend. Mr. Williams couldn't be here because he's up, I don't know. And I don't have anything from Ms. O'Neill, so I don't know.
Ms. O'Neill said she's going to be online.
Well, where's that one? Oh, okay, sorry for that. Well, this is how the evening. This is dated say Monday. We have 3 individuals that are on the board of either the medical reasons, and still have 4 that is right here in St. Croix and that here. So at this time, I'd like to curtail this information on record because when the time comes, this transfer tell the people have not to recover because at times information is missing out of the cards and reported when it's appropriate and convenient and comfortable. And this is as far as I can take it. The documents speak for themselves. Show for the record that a police record or any record that was collected in the process of any candidate seeking public office is the property of the board and not the property of one individual to shred. We don't shred evidence because if there is a need for further investigation, I think the election system supervisor will have to reapply and ask these people if the record was shred or if they were destroyed or removed. I know my police record is still here because I didn't get it in the mail and I didn't take it back. And then when you want to see it, because it's required by law that you see who I am, who I was, arrested for whatever was dismissed. Record, and arrest record have every information the individual was arrested for, whether they were convicted, dismissed, or the sentence in the commitment order. I know that from it I go. Arrest record, information available to the public when you're seeking public office. I don't have to get the record of an individual just so I can look at it. When the revised Economic Acts to verify of a person's eligibility, that's a different situation. Has to be met according to the law. And for the law, the revised Economic Act of 1954 is amended and Title 18 because there is a distinct difference between a person being eligible to be a voter or a person being elected to public office. And any one of you who would like to read on such things, look for a case with Mario Mohead Bosses and Rita Cadman, 12 South Road, I should say, the right to vote on the right to hold public office. They are not synonymous. They are distinguishable. A person's right to vote can vote after they have served their time and completed the probation. As a matter of fact, the law was changed when individuals were in the session to add changes and they were nonetheless, unless you have a part under Title 18 and one under the revised Economic Act to hold public office and fund, not eligible to hold public office. And those records speak for themselves. So if you don't have the records, determine or challenge or anything else, when this is fact is available, in continuation of this year, she will be required to produce her own statement and testimony of why and who advised her, which attorney advised her, because if you're listening, one attorney is advising, and there is no name on record, and the certificate don't know of any individual or name of the attorney that advised Mr. Fox to shred the records. Mr. Fraser is saying he don't know what record was shred. I think that's the problem we can get there, because until that is done, we can't continue to follow until Mrs. Fox and the members feel that it can come. And I guess we can always expect Mr. Ross wouldn't come because you see him coming from here and this. And I can't force anyone to come to. At this time, we can start this with anybody on the public or the media want to ask a question and we continue. If not, we can move on. Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, Roberto James. Barring an emergency, does the members of the board, are they required to inform their absence, give notice of their absence in advance?
Well, according to the emails that I have here, Mr. Ross said he wasn't coming to no more meeting like this. Mr. O'Neill, Mr. William, and Mr. Mohead said that they will be off island. So that is a notice. But I believe 3 from 7 is 4. But the 4 individuals are here. They're here. When I came this morning, I spoke to Mr. Terrell, and he said, you don't have a quorum. I said, what? He said, because Mr. Molina said, you don't have a quorum, so he wasn't coming. A quorum is not established in a quorum. Meetings are called to all the elected officials, and when there's not a quorum, the record reflects there is no quorum. This meeting was scheduled, the reporter is here, the record is here, and it's not here, and they'll just put things on the record because the information that is here will be available for all of them to read the transcript what was said and represented. So I can't hold a member that is on island and force he or she to come in.
And that's something, there's no requirement for them to inform you ahead of time, besides an emergency situation.
I've been on this board, and I've called people say, well, I'm coming, I want them to show up right here. That's a game with the family. They make sure that they have enough people here to do what they want to do, and when they believe they don't have another one or two, they don't show up, and they tell them don't come. But my conscience dictates for me, a meeting, and my knowledge tells you, a meeting is not adjourned or postponed for lack of a quorum and giving the stars to all. The word quorum means 50% plus one or majority of the vote present at the time when the roll is called. I can't call a roll on the phone or call it in the street. The meeting is called when the roll is called, Mr. Alexander did, and the not official member to stop the quorum. Nonetheless, discussion can be held. So the record will be here. If they're not here, I can enforce that. They don't live with me, I don't live with them. Everybody has their little child game to play. And I have a responsibility according to the law and the chairman of the board and in compliance with the election system.
Teachers are very well aware as to the need for the quorum and when a quorum can be, when it's established. My second question is, I know the board has been trying to get an attorney. Has the board succeeded in getting their own attorney to get away from the appointed Attorney General?
Because the election board have submitted many requests to the legislature to hire their own legal counsel. And for that reason, conflicts exist because the Attorney General sometimes, according to how they feel, would say one thing and the Attorney General feels to something else. You have a good example with a letter written November 7, 2011 by Mr. Ross on the letterhead from the election system, and a letter written to Mr. Ross on December 19, 2011, outlining something that wasn't done, similarly to determining the eligibility of a particular candidate. While one attorney would come and tell the supervisor or members to do something and not to do it, will be contradicted. Therefore, we don't have total control of the compensation of employment of an attorney for the board of election. We utilize the advisor consent margin of vigilance code to make accept advice and representation by the Attorney General. If the Attorney General tells the board members X, Y, Z, they don't agree, they can still make decisions contrary to that. But when the conflict arises, then you find a way that they would back away and write another opinion. And the opinion is just a piece of paper, but it's not legally an opinion until it is registered with the Lieutenant Governor office and the legislative personnel.
Is that part of your budget this year to include for the request on attorney?
We prepare the budget that we work on the next now. We have the figures and we put them together, and until we appear before the budget hearing Committee of Finance, that will be addressed. And nonetheless, I understand that the budget director has moved something like $600,000 from the money belonging to the election system and the board election and so on to the Help America board. After I don't know how they'll explain the authorization without it being given by the board for the OMB to use our money.
Thank you.
And that's a question that we will ask him. And until we have our own attorney and contract or otherwise employed, we will have to rely on who say what, how much Attorney General want to take. But they don't have Attorney General come here. Attorney General that I see is when we have a joint board meeting with the district board meetings in town. That's when I see attorney. I don't need to come. Okay. Any other question? Well, thank you for your appearance, and the next time we have the meeting and the hearing, and we'll advertise it. If there's a quorum, we can make a decision. If not, just park in the park in the dark. Some people want to stay in the same church building, realize then jump up and fall and get up again. Thank you for your time.